welcome to another fabulous episode of Now You Novi. Victor, how are you?
Fantastic. How are you?
I am great. I am super excited for today's topic. It's that wonderful time of the year. Spring is springing. Spring is sprung. Spring is getting there. It's raining.
Sure. We just got back from spring break, and I've seen everyone's Facebook pictures, and they look amazing. But then you come back to this dreary, gray weather here.
I know, but the excitement builds in Novi because it is that time of year when you are presenting a recommended budget to City Council. Drum roll, please. And we are building community together this year.
We are building community together this year with a fantastic theme that has come from our community relations team. So it's really cool. We always come up with a cool theme, and I believe this year is just like that. And it is a ongoing process. And you're right, the first time it's a we process. It's not just me, but it takes a village. It takes a Lego village to create such a document that we present to City Council, because this is their most important policy document they have, because this really outlines what they're going to do for the next year and actually and beyond.
So you stole some of my thunder, but the budget, super important, just like operating your home, right? Mm-hmm. There's only so much money, right? We receive our tax revenue. Where else do we get money from, Victor?
Obviously, tax revenue. There's some grants from the feds, from the state. There's fees and permitting. There's state shared revenue sharing, which is kind of like tax revenue, but there's the constitutional revenue sharing. So yes, it's all kind of different buckets that come to us.
So not an unlimited pot of money.
Correct.
There is just a set number of funds that the city uses to operate. And when we say operate, it's staff, it's building improvements. What else? What else? What are our big items? Staffing, I think, is the largest item out of our budget.
Personnel
right?
is obviously, for organizations like this, is the biggest item, because that's what delivers the service. But then you come in with all of the vehicles and the rolling assets like our fire department, our plow trucks. But yeah, in terms of the inspectors, what they need to do their jobs, it's all of this, the software and other kind of things that everything that I do for your website and for our social media. So it's all that kind of stuff that supports the delivery service on a daily basis.
And you have departments. We'll say Department of Public Works, Police Department, Community Relations, way down at the bottom of the
yes.
Community Development.
Yes, Community Relations. So far at the bottom.
We're going to do a podcast on this. This was not done with taxpayer funds. Let's just remember that.
Yes, so but just like the rest of the departments as well, not everything comes from taxes.
From taxpayer funds. But Parks and Rec, and it is a balancing act on your part, and to look at strategic priorities, which council sets, on where funds should be allocated, right? And just like a home budget, roofs need to be replaced, windows need to be upgraded, facilities need to be maintained, whatever the case might be. Each year, in addition to personnel costs, there's certain things that the city needs to continue to provide quality services. What does the year 2024-25 look like? And what priorities, I guess, Victor, how did you go about making some of those decisions for what was included in the budget?
Well, we're really at a turning point. And obviously, as we talked about, this is just one step in the process. So we have a budget meeting that happens on April 3rd, and that's like just dedicated only to the budget. But leading up to that point, we had a goal setting session, which I think we talked about at this meeting or at this podcast in the past. There's CIP, which is the Capital Improvement Authority, or the Capital Improvement Plan. That has a committee that gives feedback on that. So there's lots of different touch points. The Planning Commission has their say into it as well. So lots of different touch points to get us to this point. So a lot of this is really brought us to the point where that we're at a turning point. So we have a lot of different, we call it a transformative projects that are on the horizon, possibly a new police public safety facility, some new fire stations. ITC Park is going to be reimagined and redeveloped in some kind of way. So it's kind of looking at the making sure that we have those fantastic assets maintained, our buildings, everything, those kind of normal projects in this budget, but then looking to the future of these huge other new things that we need to get our hands around and how we're going to handle that. So there's nothing really kind of big or sexy in this budget. There's some different new replacements for stuff. There's the obvious, we think it's sexy in our field of new roads and new sidewalks, but there's nothing like it's going to be a brand new park on the north side. We did that last year in terms of Northwest Park. So as of right now, it's really kind of just little maintenance stuff, but really it leads us to the bigger questions that council have to wrestle with in terms of public safety, building needs, ITC, big road projects. So those are all on the horizon.
So one of the things that you alluded to, and I think is a really important part of the recommended budget, is the capital improvement program, right? It's come up several times over the past few weeks, months, that people don't realize that, Wixom Road, I'll use for an example, sanitary sewer replacement. These things, we don't just wake up, and go, hey, Wixom Road needs to be replaced. Let's do that this year, right? These things are well thought out far in advance and provided for in the capital improvement program, which goes back how many years? We look right now. We're looking how far ahead, Victor?
So we look 6 years in the future, and it's a planning document. It's required by law by the Planning Enabling Act by the state of Michigan, but it's anything $25,000 and above that can be depreciated. So big trucks, sewer roads, buildings, anything like that. That's what gets in the CIP, which follows that process that I alluded to earlier. That we have a planning commission meeting, we have a CIP committee meeting, we have council. So it's all those different inputs that we get on that plan that has all those different things for water, sewer, roads, technology, buildings, all that stuff.
Now, and I think one of the things that I find interesting about that is, we're open, transparent. This information is out there. Our budget document, the recommended budget document, is out there in its entirety for people to peruse, right? Mm-hmm. You can read your budget message. You can look at the capital improvement program. You can see how much money the city's spending on employees, for example, all the department goals, everything is out there. But what I really find fascinating is the numbers. We are open about everything, right? How many $1 million is the city's budget?
So
general fund.
All total, general fund is only about 46.
Okay, total.
Yep.
No,
total budget 80 plus.
So for those listening, general fund 40 some is spent on general city operations. The additional 40 that you mentioned comes from where and what is it? Is it parks? Is it public safety? Where is those funds?
You have the library in there, you have roads, okay. You have water and sewer. So those are all the other funds that kind of make up that other half of the budget.
Okay. We continue to invest in our roads. Council made it a goal years upon years ago, and they allocated a couple additional $1 million out of the budget. You and I drive to other communities, right?
Yep.
It's amazing to me the investment Novi continues to make in local and neighborhood roads, above and beyond what is required or some would perceive is required, because we truly know that those local investments keep our housing values up, keep the community character where it needs to be, etc. And we're trying not to fall behind. I'm not going to point anyone out, but a certain community to the east of us, many neighborhoods have to incur special assessment districts to have their roads.
And that used to be the case, but I think they have since changed that to a similar model that we have.
That's awesome.
So what Cheryl's saying, that special assessment is like only you people that live on streets A, B, and C pay another $30,000 in the next few years to pay for your road. Yeah. So now that's you don't have to pay that here; it's in your taxes. But that says you pay your taxes, and then you pay another $30,000 as a special assessment. It's going to be on your just for you guys, not your neighbors to the west that has to do that.
So, very, very cool. I think it's a perk. People want to see where their dollars go. We have an awesome little dollar in there. You may say, "Oh my goodness, my taxes are so high. I pay $6,000 a year and I get nothing for it." Well, the city really gets maybe $1,500 of that $6,000. The rest goes to schools, the county, the DIA, a variety of other colleges and county parks, etc. Right? I mean,
because you're right. It's all those other entities that we do the tax bill for all that stuff. So I mean, yes, it comes from the city, but if you look down the line items, it's from all those other entities that help whatever services you're taking advantage of from the schools, DIA, the zoo, county, all that kind of stuff.
If people take away one thing from this podcast, other than the amazing Lego building community together theme, what is the one thing that you really want people to know about the city's recommended or the annual budget and financial plan?
I think that it's really, not to just pat you in the back, but I think it's the amount of effort that we put in there with our finance, but with our community relations team to make this process a understandable process. And I know it's really hard. It's not like, oh yeah, Victor makes X amount of money. It's not going to be. It's really trying to get the 30,000 foot level for our residents and for our stakeholders to understand where our money is going, what our priorities are. So, yes, if you look at other budgets and other communities, it's not going to look like this. It might just be some spreadsheets and some numbers, and here's line items for computers and for tires and gas. But we really try to kind of tell that story of where their money's going, what departments are spending what, what are those big priorities of the community. And you can drill down whatever you want, but it's just not this document here. We have the CIP website. We have all of our audits, all the transparency stuff's out on the website. So it's really a kind of comprehensive look at where your tax dollars go to. And you're right. Sometimes it doesn't look that your roads are getting done like as quick as you want, but unfortunately prices are going up. So we're trying to mitigate that as well. But really just go and use all of our resources we have on our website to figure out where stuff is going. And we're happy to guide you through that. But there's meetings to take part of. This is just the first step. They'll consider it in a meeting in May. So it's just it's a very long process. We'll get done with it in May, and then we'll start up again in I don't know. I think it's like August. So it's crazy.
I think another really interesting note is, in addition to the easy to read budget document, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. I've looked at other communities and we do it very differently, right? It is easy to navigate our budget document. We do a complimentary video. Last year we did a playbook, and the video was on a baseball team type theme to it. And this year's going to be building community together. I can't wait. But it really breaks it down into the process and the teams working together and what the final outcome is. And I think the goal for us, not just for City Council, is to make the information as useful and accessible to residents as possible. It's their community, right? We're just here facilitating the needs of the community, City Council, et cetera, and ensuring that everyone's needs are met.
Yeah, definitely. Because it's everyone's needs. That's key as well, because we're talking about the single mom, the whole family of six, our older adults that may be living by themselves, the residents we have in our facility, Meadowbrook Commons. So it's all those people we're trying to serve and make sure that their needs are met, whatever stage in life they are at.
So that being said, if you're interested, City Council's meeting Wednesday, April 3rd. This will air in the morning, but they're meeting tonight and at 7 o'clock, correct?
That all sounds right.
That all sounds right. The meeting will be available to view on cityofnovi.org, and then it will be retained on there, so you can watch it on the website later as well if you want to see City Council deliberate and talk about the recommended budget that Victor and our team put together. They then may meet, maybe not, for a second time. Depends on if there's any changes or anything that is an outlier, maybe, I guess, if you would, that wasn't included, or more discussion needs to be had about the budget. But City Council must adopt the budget by the second meeting in May.
I think it's our first meeting in May, because it's the third Monday in May by our charter, which is our constitution of the city requires it by.
And then this budget will go into effect July 1. Our fiscal year is July 1 to June 30th. So Good stuff.
Yeah. Wish us luck. For the radio of one that is listening to all the finance stuff, it's fun. But one big thing that we always got to take into account for all of our finance people that live in this community, government financing is a lot different than public or private financing for the private sector. So a battle we often are up against with some of our council members that are big finance people in the private sector. So we'll have that the ancillary podcast after this to help explain it line by line in terms of the difference between the two.
Oh, would that be like
charts and graphs spreadsheets would be great.
We can be showing them here, and those listening we could just be making it up, Victor.
Yeah, we could. We would definitely put you to sleep, that's for sure.
Well, thanks for joining me. I think that this is a super important, not super sexy topic, but super important. And just the residents, business members, we do this for you. We're open, we're transparent. You know where all the money goes. You can see what all the department goals are. See how many people are in each department. It's all in there.
Yep.
And it is a great document. If you have some time to kill and are just genuinely interested, it's all available on cityofnovi.org. Again, it's the recommended fiscal year 24-25 annual budget and financial plan.
Woohoo!
Thanks for joining me. Good luck tomorrow night, or
Thanks
tonight,
so much.
I guess. Tonight, saying.
Yes.
Good luck tonight. And with that, we will leave you with
Now You Novi.
Take care.